Welcome to the Grid League podcast, where we tell the stories of the players and teams in the Florida Grid League. All right, guys. Today I'm here with Cade Johnson. Cade is a strength specialist for the South Beach Palms in the Florida Grid League. The Palms are a very, very good team in the league, and Cade's got an interesting story. So we're going to go ahead and dive in and let him tell the rest of us about him a little bit. So, what's up, Cade? How's your Friday going so far?
What's up, Nick? It's going good, man. I got up early today for the first time this week. I've been on spring break this week. So today's the first day I've got up before like 9:30. But yeah, got up this morning, got moving, recorded some aerobics stuff in the complex gym, and back here doing this, man.
Awesome, dude. It's cool to hear spring break because that's actually like something I want to talk about. So, you're 21 years old, right?
Yeah, I just turned 21.
Yeah, so you're probably one of the youngest players in the league right now. What's it like being on a team where you're definitely the young buck, but you have such a big role?
Man, what's it like being the young guy? I mean, honestly, I think that's a part of what draws me to the Palms is they don't treat me any different. I'm one of the guys. I think the next youngest guy on the team for us would be probably Shern as far as the guys go.
Mm-hmm.
I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's going to be right. Shern or Brett, they're like 27, 26, 27. So
what we think is on most of the teams, there's usually like one or two really young players, right?
Yeah.
I think they're more in developmental roles, right?
Yeah.
I've seen you on the grid a bunch, man. You're lifting some big ass weights.
When I came in, I think there was definitely some thought to put me in a developmental role. I don't think that anyone on the team, including myself, thought I was going to take on the kind of role I have for the Palms. It's just kind of ended up after going through practice and finding out where, who fits where, it just so happened that I've been able to be a role fit, a fit of the role for the Palms.
Well, so let's dive into that then, man. What is your role on that team?
I mean, I'm a strength specialist. So actually I'm really glad you bring that up because I signed as a utility player. Mm-hmm. If anything comes out of this whole video, I want the league to know and anyone seeing this that I signed as a utility, but my role just changed to be a strength player. I came in thinking I was going to get to do some more, the gymnastics, some of the ring stuff. And on occasion I still get to, but I think for what all the team has to offer, it just ended up being that I'm 9 times out of 10 going to be on a barbell. So when I show up to game day, I know that I'm probably going to do between 30 and 50 reps, and probably 30 of the 50 reps is going to be on a barbell, and the other 20 are going to be doing burpees for some unfortunate reason.
Okay, well, so what's your background athletically, right? So pre-grid. You're young, so when we talk about your background, it really wasn't that long ago. But what were you doing prior to competing in grid?
So I played football in high school. That's about all I had to do at as far as ball sports go. Mm-hmm. But also throughout high school, I did CrossFit, and I competed in weightlifting actually in high school, which was bench press and clean and jerk. Mm-hmm. But I only found that sort of thing through CrossFit. So my background is just in the functional fitness community. Now, I will say football played a big role on where I got to start my fitness career, because coming into CrossFit, I could already bench press 225, but at the same time, I couldn't, I couldn't do more than 5 strict pull-ups, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, right.
So I just had some very uneven, specialized, if you want to call it that, fitness, which, is another great conversation to have on why I think grid is a good thing for me. But
what did you play in football? What positions did you play?
I played inside linebacker.
Okay.
Yeah.
So super explosive, but that's
Yeah.
also like a highly specialized role, right?
Yeah, for sure. Especially for the type of football that we played here in North Florida. A lot of the teams we played were like kind of inside run, toss. Like it was a heavy run game for all the high schools up here. And it still is.
Mhm.
But with that being said, an inside linebacker, your main priority, is to shut down a run. So I think that's something I can appreciate about transferring over to grid is like you have a job, and if you take care of your job and have the trust in your teammates that they take care of their job, we're gonna win. And I think that was kind of some of the winning formula we had last season.
Was that you guys all kind of had roles you filled and you did it really well, right?
Yeah, like everybody knows going into the match, like this is your job. Like get to that, and then the rest. You can help somebody else after that. But like if you do nothing else today, this is your job. I have a job, you know. Brett has a job, Sharon has a job. Like we all know going in, we're in the headspace that I have like about because how many races are there? Like 6?
There's like 7 to 11 depending on the match type. Yeah.
Okay, so say you have 7 races that day. I've probably got like 8 things in the next hour I have to do, like 8 sets.
Yeah.
Like, and when you break that up over an hour, what's that, like one thing every 10 minutes?
Yeah.
So
It's actually not a whole lot of work. Yeah.
it's not, but it is up here if you let it be, right? If you don't
Mm.
plan going in, knowing what you have to do.
Well, so then let's talk about that, right? Because you guys were the Southeast Palms, right? You guys were a relatively new team, right? You played in the As One tournament. Were you in that tournament?
Yeah, actually, that was my first time. I thought that was going to be my only time playing grid.
Oh, so we played you guys. Yeah, your first match was against us. Okay.
Yeah, it was against the Sharks.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the only time I've got to play you guys, and it was a lot of fun, man. That was my first experience with grid, and it was so exciting.
Yeah,
The thing about that match, very quickly, um, it just felt. I remember being in the moment and thinking like, "Oh, we beat them," and then like, "Okay, we're good." Like how kind of in football, like you score a touchdown, okay, we're gonna be in the lead for like probably about 5 minutes at least.
yeah.
Playing the Sharks that day, it was like we win, we're in the lead for like 30 seconds. And like it's already tied again. You're like, freak. This guy. But
Yeah, that's one of the really exciting things about grid, right? Is the comeback happens so fast. You never really get to rest and like relax and know like, yeah, we're in the lead, we got this. Because the other team could just win 2 races in a row and it's over.
it's crazy because that like anxiety puts my heart rate so high that it doesn't matter that I'm doing like 8 sets or like 50 reps in an hour. Like my heart rate's still probably at 80-90%.
Yeah, I'll check my Whoop after a match day, and even if I didn't play very much, it's still spiked. I'm rocking like a 20 strain that day.
But the highest strain I've ever had in a day was at the UBU Expo.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like 19 and a half. It was something ridiculous.
Well, so you guys played the As One tournament, and you guys did pretty good at the tournament, but that was obviously like 2 days, and that was done, right?
Yeah.
With this last season was your first like real season, right? So
yes,
your whole team's first real season.
Yeah.
What was that like? Did it feel like there was pressure, like as the new team? What was the beginning of that season?
The beginning of this past season?
Yep, the one that just ended, the 2021 season. Like, remember, you guys are the new kids on the block. There's probably a lot of hype, right?
I mean, I knew we were gonna be good. I just didn't know we were gonna be that good. It was like, things were just kind of happening for us like throughout the season. We were getting like some good calls, and it just was like a match made in heaven kind of thing. It felt like at times. Just from the very first match, like after that, I knew we were gonna, continue to get better. But going into that match, like I had no idea like what kind of team we had put together. So yeah.
I can tell you, looking from the outside in, like I don't think anybody really did. I've known Bradley for a long time. I knew you guys were going to be pretty good. I don't think anybody was prepared for you guys to go undefeated in the regular season.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, and why would they, right? We're
Mm.
like, the new team. We're really like far spread. Practice is hard to come by,
Mhm.
which is everything in this sport, in my opinion. So yeah, no, I mean, it just happened that way, I guess. I think it was because I don't think going in. I mean, obviously everyone wants to win,
Mhm.
but I don't think that was like, w- at least in my opinion, I can't speak for everybody. I felt like we were together and having fun, like more than anything. Um, that's what it was about. Like we were not only were we having fun playing the sport, but we were just having fun hanging out.
Mhm. This episode is brought to you by Punch Gunk. Punch Gunk is a pain relief and anti-inflammatory rub. You put it on your muscles, your joints. You're gonna feel a whole lot better if you use it. I know that a couple weeks ago, my back was killing me from a deadlift workout. Couldn't bend over without strong discomfort. One of the players convinced me to use some, rubbed it on my back. About 15 minutes later, I was doing muscle ups and snatches with no pain at all. I absolutely could not believe it, but it's true. They're a supporter of the podcast now. If you want to try it out, go to punchgunk.com, use code SHARKS10. You'll get a discount. This stuff is amazing. It's all over my gym now. The Southwest Florida Sharks and the Florida Grid League use it. Big, big, big supporter of it now. Check it out at punchgunk.com. Use code SHARKS10 for a discount. It seemed like that watching the team, right? It seemed like maybe your guys, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but it seemed like maybe your guys' expectations weren't that high. So you were able to kind of approach it a little more loosely.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And it benefited, right? Because then you guys kicked ass all season.
Yeah, and I think the biggest advantage to going in with that like loose mentality is the ability to bounce back. And that's one of the biggest. I hesitate to say this because this is kind of the secret sauce in grid, in my opinion, is the ability to bounce back after a loss.
Mm-hmm.
Like if your team is even a little rattled just from losing one race, maybe it's the first race, whatever. Um, it can spiral out of control really fast, just because of the nature of the speed of the game. Um, and that's one thing that I think we mitigate really well on the Palms by having that loose approach is the ability to just get our head back in the game and go on to the next race.
Yeah, I think that's totally true, right? I remember so for the Sharks, my team, I would say a big strength of ours has always been that partner forward race, that first race.
On the partner forward.
Me too. And I think we won something like 10 in a row or something like that. And then we lost one and we just weren't prepared for it. Like it was a new feeling. And I remember that messed up our entire match.
Oh, please, we don't have to get to it right now per se, but at least give me a chance to circle back to partner forward and our little win streak that I took a lot of pride in for a while.
Let's talk about it right now. Partner forward, for anyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about, is the first match in every grid match. It's, in my opinion, probably the most exciting of them. Generally, it's like some kind of body weight or gymnastics movement mixed with like a heavier weightlifting movement. The reps start really high with low weights. They go to lower reps with significantly higher weights or like higher difficulty. It's really cool. It's really exciting. I don't know that, like, if I want to show somebody what our sport is, that's usually the race I show them because they try to understand that the intensity gets like crazy high, crazy fast. So what are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts on partner forward?
Yeah. So what do you want to talk about?
Oh, well, I just wanted to bring up the from this past season, like, and even through Dad's one tournament, even in the matches that we ultimately lost, we won partner forward. Like the first time we lost a partner forward race was to the freaks in our last match.
Oh,
And then
man.
see, I want to bring that up because I knew like from the time that we lost partner for it, I was like, this is bad. Like something's not right.
Felt like you guys were cursed.
I don't know, man. It gave me an uneasy feeling. I was like, because we always won it. And I was like really like I came into every race and I think I still will go into this next season with this mentality. But I'm going into every race in other words, I wanna punch first. I wanna throw the first stone. So going into every race, I'm thinking winning partner forward is an automatic. Like that's how I'm kind of showing up to the race. And I want to go into the next season doing that too. But that's one thing I did last season. And so when we lost that first match, I was rattled. You know, I was rattled. So yeah, that's all I wanted to bring up on that. But
so what do you normally do in partner forward? What portions of that race do you participate in?
quad 3, quad 4. Yeah, always quad 3, quad 4.
Yeah, so heavier weights, higher boxes, heavier kettlebells.
Like, tagging out, like whenever they're running down to tag in from quad 2, that's so exciting. Like I love running down lane and like because the guy goes first, right? Usually.
Yep.
I love running down lane and like just ripping the bar off the ground. If it's cleans, like it cleans and partner forward are my favorite. That and the double kettlebell snatches.
Yeah, so I'm a coach and I've never, very much on purpose, never participated in partner forward. So I'm always there when the guy and the girl are running down into quad 3. And man, the adrenaline pump that comes from just watching you guys sprint as hard as you can to get to that barbell.
Yeah.
Awesome. Like it's actually hard to communicate because quad 2 finishes, they get out of there. I get a second to be like, okay. And then I see one of our big old dudes just sprinting as hard as they can down into quad 3. And I'm like, all right, game on. Like, because quad 3 and quad 4 takes so little time.
Yeah.
It's done so fast.
They're smooth. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. You're getting me a little bit excited about the season just talking about that. So that's cool.
Now I'm thinking of like some of the, and that's one thing I want to talk about too. Like, man, I need to put on some weight in the next couple months because I see some of these other dudes running quad 3 and quad 4, the big dudes. I'm like, I'm supposed to be playing the same position as you. Like, bro, I feel like I'm down by like 20 pounds. But I think some of that like plays to my advantage. Partner forward is a great example. I feel like I can get to the bar. Like, I feel like even if, and we're usually not just by the way, but even if quads 1 and 2 finish a little late and we're behind, like I feel like I can get to the third bar or the third quadrant, before the other heavy guy, the other strength specialist running down lane. And I think that's an advantage to being a little bit of a lighter strength specialist. Now there are some other light strength specialists. I say lighter strength specialists in the league, like the Aces. Aces got a guy about my size that he's a strength specialist. So, we're out here, we're repping.
We have one on our team. His name's Kevin. Nobody knows who he is because he has no social media and he doesn't talk to anybody. But he's like 5'6", and maybe the strongest dude on our team. And it's pretty wild watching him move the bar, but it only goes about to my waist.
That's probably a big advantage for him. Like
massive advantage, yeah. So I'll say that, like we're gonna get Blake on this show at some point. Blake's my height. I know it's hard to move the barbell that high up, whether he wants to admit it or not. So,
what position does he play?
He's the strength specialist on the Wild. So,
Blake. Kidder.
Yeah, Kidder. Yep.
I thought you were talking about a Blake on your team. Yeah, no. That's actually one of the guys I was referencing. I was thinking about Blake. I was thinking about the strength specialist on Tampa. I was thinking about JoJo. Yeah, I'm thinking about these big dudes,
Yeah, there's some more beef there. There's some more size for sure.
I don't know. I need to talk to them. We need to get on the same diet. I'm on the college diet, so like Costco is a lot of my nutrients, which I feel like could be worse, but
Yeah, it could be worse. It could be all McDonald's. So
yeah. No, we're doing okay.
All right. So with last season,
nutrition.
with last season, right? You guys went undefeated in the regular season, which was awesome to watch, especially because you weren't in my conference. That was super cool watching that. And then you guys lost a super tight match in the conference finals to the Miami Freaks, right? Let's talk about that match, and then we'll talk about the end of it afterwards. But let's talk about the match first. Let's talk about what was that like, man? Because you guys had gone undefeated. You know, you like you just said, you lost that first race, kind of rattled you a little bit, right? What were the next races after that? How'd that go?
Oh, this match was like all over the place. So many like errors and on both teams. It was just at any given point, I really didn't know what was about to happen. But obviously, you know how I felt after partner Ford. Going into Mirror, I felt really good about Mirror because you know, I've found that the Palms, some of our identity in the Palms, dude, our team is strong as fuck. Like we move weight. I'm sorry, excuse the language, but like we clear ladders. So going into Mirror, it was 10 hang cleans at I think it was like 225, something like that, 235 maybe. And I knew like, you know, this is a race we can win. Now I was hoping you were gonna ask me about this. I actually watched the race back last night, so all this is fairly.
Oh no, I've done that.
But yeah. So we won Mirror, and then I felt good. I felt good after Mirror. I was like, okay, like and at this point it's 3-3. I don't remember. And see, this goes back to what I was telling you earlier about like knowing your roles. I don't even remember like what's after Mirror.
Echo.
Yeah, I don't think I had any role in Echo. So I don't even remember what happened for Echo. Like I was in the back, like probably getting ready for ladder or whatever. Thing I was coming up for. But yeah, yada yada. All those races come. The next thing I remember in that match is probably Heather and her ringer, because they had to run it back twice. And she won both times.
Yeah, she did the triple touches, right?
What's up?
She did the triple touches. Is that what it was?
Yeah, 6 triple touches.
Yeah, that's the ringer. The ringer, for anyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about, is when basically each team sends like a gladiator out there on their own. They go head to head, 1-on-1 against the other team's best person in something. And this one was 6 triple touches. And the Freaks put out a guy, and you guys put out a girl, right?
Yeah. We put
out Heather Hudson, right? She did awesome.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
So that was the next thing I remembered in that race. After that, I mean, ladder, like I said earlier, we're super strong. So we won that event. And actually, I didn't realize this at the time. And this was one of the like crazy things that happened in the match that I was saying there were so many errors. We ended up winning by like the 20% margin or whatever. So they didn't even get any points for that race. And that was one of the crazy things. Conversely, another crazy thing that happened that I didn't know until sprint relay. We had a substitution error on Jack and Jill, so we didn't get any points. So I think back on this race, man, and I think like all I can think is we should have won, you know, just because of just silly things. You think, you look at it, but then again, like you can look at it as a freak and be like, just as well, like, you know, well, you made theirs, we made theirs, you know, so it's equal. But yeah, that happened. And then sprint relay. So I'm gonna be honest with you, man, sprint relay is the hardest race for the Bombs, just from a player perspective. Not to say we haven't had some awesome sprint relay finishes, but when it came down to that, I was like, damn. I think I was a little like upset going into it or disgruntled, because of the Jack and Jill sub going in. Like that's something that I found out, like, because Jack and Jill is right before sprint relay, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So Oh, dude. I found out about that going into sprint relay. I was like, dude, we had this locked.
Yeah, so
Uh,
you've got this adrenaline high, and then it comes and just smacks you in the face, right?
yeah, it's pretty. It just felt like someone just like punched me in the gut, like, and in my mind, I was really, really hoping because I knew I had one assignment. For anyone who doesn't know, and maybe you can expound upon this, sprint relay usually ends with a heavy ass bar.
Right.
Um, and I love it. It is my single-handed next to partner forward favorite part about grid is the last piece on the sprint relay. Um, Today or that day, it was two clean and jerks at 275. And I knew I was going up against JoJo. And I was like, if I get to this bar at the same time as JoJo, I'm going to beat him. Obviously, if you watch the race, that didn't happen. I watched it back last night and I counted the seconds because I knew I was going to be on this podcast today. JoJo got to the bar 4 seconds before I did. So I think if I had those 4, I think it might have been a different story. But obviously, it's a team sport, and that's what makes it fun. So I was not afforded those 4 seconds.
Yeah, that's one of the more exciting moments in grid for sure, is when there's a tight match, right? Like, because the final race sprint relay is worth more points. It's worth more points than any other race. So
That's another
you
thing. Yeah.
you could be behind, but if you win sprint relay, and then hell, if you win it by a significant margin, there could be like a 4-point swing there. You could win the race, even though you're the whole match if you're way behind. And man, when the usually big dude runs at the end and they got to hit a barbell and you got the whole team screaming, cheering for him, like that is a massively, massively exciting moment.
Mm. Yeah, and the thing was about that race, it made it even more exciting. And like, I was excited for him. I'm not gonna lie, just because I was like, oh damn, that's a sick story. We were up a point going into sprint relay. I think it was like 11-12, and obviously we knew, we finished the race, we get the point. That's 13, but obviously, like you were saying, winner gets 3 on
Mhm.
sprint relay. So that's how it ended, man. And whenever I looked over, because JoJo passed the line before I did, I watched him go in, and I saw that moment for the freaks. And I'm not gonna lie, I was happy for him. I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, I mean, that's a good story, like good game, like it was hard fought. That was the tightest grid match I've played in. I mean, when I think about, because this regular season and playoffs, we had 5 games or 5 matches, and then at that as one, we had like I think a total of 4.
Mhm.
So in my 8 to 9 grid experiences, that was easily the tightest and most hard fought race. So had to give it up for those guys in that moment. But yeah, I'm excited to play them again this year. I'll say that.
Well, and like that, those moments I think are the ones you remember the most, right? Like we had a match against the Tampa Bay Brigade like 3 years ago, and it was back when the matches were 2 hours long and there were 11 races. And we went into that last one tied. And
Oh,
it was,
they were
it,
exhausted.
we were smoked. And then not only that, we tied sprint relay. So we had to rerun
Oh,
sprint
you had
relay.
to run the second half.
Yeah. And I think about that match all the time because they ended up getting us by about a second on the rerun. And, more power to them. But
Yeah, right.
holy hell, was that a stressful moment,
Yeah, every moment. No, whenever, like, usually by the end of the season, whenever it's all said and done, and I say usually, in my one season of experience, um, I by the end of the season, I'm like, I'm sad. I'm very sad that it's over, but at the same time, I'm like, dude, I need like a reset on my adrenal glands.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah, I can totally relate to that. I feel the same way. I don't even think about shark stuff until probably about 2 or 3 months later. I text everybody. I'm like, if you need something, you hit me up. I'm not going to talk to you about grid for a little bit.
yeah, yeah. Man, I always wonder. I'm always curious of how the atmosphere is in the North Conference. Where do you guys play?
Yeah, we play up in St. Petersburg at the Valor Fitness facility.
You play at HQ?
Yeah. So it's definitely different from the North and the South, right? The South has a little bit more of a contentious vibe to it, for sure. There's a little more. What's the most tactful way to say this on a podcast? There's a little more dick measuring going on in the South, for sure. You know?
No, and I honestly, dude, I'm not gonna lie. I've come to like enjoy the tenacity, like the trash talk, you know, the personal whatever. It was a lot though whenever I first came down. Like I had no idea what to expect because truthfully, like grid has been my first experience in South Florida at all. So going in, you know, I had no expectations. I was excited. I was like, I'm gonna go hang out with my friends. I know they're gonna be there. But we get there, man. It's so much fun, man. The community is so like big, and the grid community is so big in South Florida, and everyone's so excited about the races. Like it's refreshing to see that many people like show up to watch this insane sport.
Yeah, and it is insane to watch in person, right? Like you can see whatever you want online. I don't think it does a great job of translating like how exciting and how fast and how stressful it can be in person, you know?
Yeah, at the AS1 tournament after we got eliminated, I stuck around and watched the championship match between the Lions and the Wild.
Yep.
And I sat on the Lions sideline, like probably about quad 3. Oh man, like I was honestly like somewhat grateful that I was not playing because I was like, this is so stressful. Like it's nice to sit back as a spectator and just watch. So sometimes, you know, I'm privileged with that ability to see a match go before or go after we play. And I'm reminded of why I play, because I leave and I'm like, yeah, like that was really stressful, but man, like I want to go back in there and do that again.
Yeah, I do the same thing as you. We don't have to travel quite as far as you do to play, but every one of our matches is like a 3-hour drive away. So I always stay and watch the second match if we were the first one, or try to get there a little early and watch the first one over the second one. And afterwards, driving back home, I'm like, man, this adrenaline is not going to drop off. Like, I wish we didn't have to wait 3 weeks for the next match, you know?
Yeah, you know, so I'm glad you bring that up, the drive. I love taking the drive down south. Like it's
because you live in Tallahassee and you play in Miami.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and from Tallahassee, it's more like 6.5, 7. But me and my homeboy, Brett, who lives actually another like hour west. So for him, it's more like a 7.5, 8 hour drive. Actually, I think it's 7 for them. But anyways, he'll drive here, I'll pick him up, and then we'll drive together all the way down. So the whole way down there, we're just talking. You know what's going on.
Yep.
Talking about this match for like the whole trip there. And then after we play the match, the whole trip back, just like talking about what we should have did, what we're gonna do. And it's you know, at first I thought I was gonna hate having to take that drive, but like now it's kind of got to something I enjoy.
Yeah. So it's funny you say that, right? I think the players that live in Tampa and Miami actually miss out on one of the coolest parts of grid is what you're talking about right there. Every one of my matches, our team has to drive 3 hours each way, right? So on the way up there, like you said, what are we going to do? What's going to happen? Let's get excited and let's talk about it. On the way back, it's like, man, let's recap that entire match. Let's dive into everything that happened in the last hour or 2 hours. How can we get better? What can we do next time? What do we learn from the other team? How do we smoke that team? You know? Yeah. Yeah. I can see you like getting goosebumps, right? Because that's such a cool feeling, you know?
It is. And you know, before we came on, we were talking about like my experience with podcasts. one time, man, me and Brett Henry made a podcast in the car. We were like, you know what? Turn on the like, we're gonna record this and run it back later. And I still haven't listened back to it. But one day I will. And so that's just some of the really cool things you get to do, traveling from here to there. And now honestly, 3 hours does sound a little bit better than 6. I think we could cover everything that we do in 3 hours. But yeah, it's been good. Now I will say sometimes the folks in Miami get to experience the drive, right? Because we have the match in Orlando.
Yep, that's true. Yeah, the first match of the season at the UBU Europa Expo in Orlando, right?
Yeah, I love that, man. That was really cool. I had no idea what was going on, but it was really cool.
Yeah, it's happening again this year too. It'll be really fun to have everybody like in person together again.
Yeah, no, that was my first like real match outside of as one, and it made for a good experience. And then that time, actually, I got to drive with a different teammate to that match. I drove with Brent Proctor that weekend. Yeah. So, no, when you guys drive, do you take like a van, or like how many people do you ride with?
No, I mean we just kind of break it up into like small groups. Most of the players on our team like have full-time jobs. Right. So we have to leave at random times.
Like shifts.
Okay. Yeah, right. We'll have like someone leaves at 7:00 at night, somebody leaves at 8:00 in the next morning. A couple of the players, exactly who you are, like to leave late the next morning and give me a heart attack until an hour before the match. You know who I'm talking about. Because we got to get over that Skyway Bridge and it gets shut down all the time. So really important question, because we're running low on time, Cade. Yeah. You have a sponsor, right?
Oh yeah.
You have someone who's helped support you in this journey, right? Like, who is that? Talk to me about them.
So yeah, you'd be talking about WOD Squad. Now WOD Squad's not my only sponsor, but they are the one that kicks in for me to make it out to these grid matches. Man, like I can't give it up enough for those guys. It's a local Tallahassee brand, and our mission, their mission is to just bring, the North Florida Panhandle community together, namely the Tallahassee fitness community. So yeah, they help me make it out to these events and cover some of that, what we as players have to typically afford. They help me out in a big way. So shout out to them. Gonna make sure they're definitely gonna be on the back of my jersey this year next to all the other team sponsors. So
hell yeah. How would somebody find my WOD Squad if they wanted to?
Instagram at my WOD Squad, and then URL mywodsquad.com.
Yep. Okay, awesome. Now, so I mean we're still in like the preseason right now, right? We're not there yet.
Yeah, man, we're still a ways out. I'm bummed.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts so far? Because I know your whole team's not signed. I'm sure your coaches haven't given you guys like your entire game plan yet. But when you think about you as a player and then you as the Palms, what's your game plan for 2022?
Game plan for 2022. Well, I'll say this: as soon as CrossFit season is over, I will be thoroughly dedicating training to Olympic weightlifting and cycling a barbell. I say that now, get back to me in a few months, but that's the plan. The other plan, and I think some of it's already started. I got you right here. We're starting to work out together again. So like I'm going to be taking a few more trips to Mariana to work out with Brett Henry here soon, and next month actually. I'm competing at WOD Wars with Heather Hudson.
Nice.
So we're starting to work out again together. I think that at this point in the game, that's kind of important. Like we're just getting the team chemistry back up. Mm-hmm. Because to be honest with you, like, yeah, we thrive together during the season, but after the season, life picks up and we all get busy. So we'll go a few months without talking as much, but right now I think we're getting back into the swing of hanging out and just being a team. Yeah, I think that's going to be key.
Okay, cool. And then what are you're on the spot. All the money's right here. What's your prediction for the Palms this year?
6-0.
Okay. Awesome, dude. Cade, I've loved this, man. If people wanted to find you, if other sponsors wanted to reach out to you or other supporters wanted to, how would they do that?
Yeah, for sure. So 2 great ways: Instagram, email. Instagram at Cade, CADE _called, CALLED _IT. My email is ecjecj01@gmail.com.
Okay, awesome, dude. We'll throw those in the show notes. They'll be in there for easy to find. Anyone else who wants to look it up. Cade, anything else you want to say, man?
Thank you so much for having me on, and I'm ready for these next 4 months to go by. Right,
Awesome, bro.
Get to the good stuff.
Thank you. Good luck in semifinals for CrossFit. Good luck at Wad Wars. Hopefully in the season we beat you if we play you.
All right, Nick. Appreciate
Talk to you later, bro. Thanks for hanging out with us. If you want to find out more about the Grid League, you can find us on social media at FL Grid League or on the internet at www.thefgl.com. If you want to find me, you can find me on Instagram at Nick Habich. See you soon.